Do all humans have the same degree of access to environmental resources? How does our identity, social position, and privilege affect our ability to use and benefit from natural resources? Hello friends, and welcome to our video series where we discuss the complexities of environmental problems. And in this video, we will talk about the politics of environmental governance and understand 5 social mechanisms that create inequalities in our ability to access environmental resources. Understanding these mechanisms of access can help us reflect on the injustices in our environmental governance systems and redesign them in ways that provide equitable access to everyone. Number 1. Access provided through law. This is where the legal system of a country provides access to an environmental resource like a piece of land, a water body, or mineral deposits of the country through its national law. A country can decide to grant legal rights to access resources only to certain individuals based on their nationality or how long they have been residing in the country, or even factors like their race, ethnicity, gender, or whether or not they practice the dominant religion of the country. This determines who can legally benefit from the resources of the country, like the right to own property, the right to grow and sell nature-based products, or the right to make decisions regarding what happens to the natural resources of the country. For example, a country may prevent immigrants or refugees from owning property within their borders, which in turn may reduce their ability to access certain resources or limit their employment opportunities. Thus, access provided through legal systems can exclude people who do not fit within the visions of the governing system. Number 2. Access through technology. Technologies can facilitate or restrict our ability to physically access resources. For example, technologies like hand pumps, tractors, electric motors, or other specialized tools can increase access to resources that are otherwise hard to extract, like groundwater or mineral deposits. Access through technology itself depends on how much financial capital or technical skills people have, that is, whether they can afford to pay for the technology and have the knowledge on how to operate it. Technologies can also enhance or restrict our ability to reach remote resources. For example, roads and railway networks can determine how easily and quickly one can transport resources, which in turn determines to what extent can we benefit from them. Number 3. Access to market. Access to market institutions affect one's ability to commercially benefit from a resource. For example, the ability to participate in the market may be restricted by whether or not one has the legal right to buy or sell environmental goods and services in the region. Or a person's ability to benefit from selling environmental goods may be affected by whether or not they have access to the latest market information regarding the demand of the goods or the best competitive price at which they should sell. Access to market can also be limited by one's ability to influence decision-making regarding issues like what kind of environmental products can be commodified and sold in the market, or whether the price of a commodity should be determined by the market, the state's government, or some international agency, or whether or not the state must provide subsidies in a competitive market to those who cannot afford the capital required to produce the good. Number 4. Access through social identity. In some cases, access to environmental resources depends on the community or social group a person belongs to. For example, the professional identity of being a scientist may allow one to access endangered wildlife species or exclusive research sites. Or the social identity of belonging to an indigenous community allows one access to some native species and their benefits. Sometimes our social identity may also work against us by providing us access to environmental problems that we do not want. For example, in some societies, waste is generally dumped in areas that are inhabited by economically poor or socially marginalized communities, making them more susceptible to the health problems caused by toxic pollutants in the waste. Or in other societies, women generally spend more time cooking on traditional stoves that do not remove smoke from their vicinity, making them vulnerable to indoor air pollution and its associated health risks. And finally, number 5, access through social networks. Sometimes our ability to access resources can be dependent on whom we have connections with within our community. When some resources are exclusively available only through certain individuals or hubs in the social network, Access to these resources is determined by how close or far we are from them in the network and how weak or strong is the connection. Social networks that determine access to resources can be based on friendship ties, professional ties, family, and can get affected by social identities like caste, race, or gender. Therefore, identifying the network dynamics of a community can help us understand how creation of new social relationships can enhance one's access to resources, while disruption of existing social connections can restrict resource access. So to conclude, we have learned in this video that our ability to access and benefit from environmental resources depend on a variety of social mechanisms. Being aware of these mechanisms can help us reflect on our governance systems and create social conditions that provide equitable access to resources for all human beings. Thank you.